Keek on the mic, keek on the mic. Keek on the mic, keek on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So exciting topic right here on Keek on the Mic for you guys today, as report out of Chicago is this. Ex-coach says Jaquan Brisker is the next Adrian Amos for the Bears, and that's honestly super encouraging news from an ex-coach of Jaquan Brisker. But the Chicago Bears obviously knew what they wanted when the second round unfolded back in April at the NFL draft, and Ryan Poles made it very clear that his top two targets were Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker, and he got both of his guys. So it was a big deal for Ryan Poles to add those two guys to the Chicago Bears roster. And obviously, the two rookies have not disappointed. There's been multiple reports that they have been tearing it up in early offseason practices. And especially when you look at Jaquan Brisker, he has turned a lot of heads at Halas Hall. And coaches felt that he would contribute quickly, that he can fit right into this defense and just tear it up. But they didn't expect him to adapt this fast. And one person that isn't surprised is his ex-Penn State cornerbacks coach, Terry Smith. Terry Smith believes Bears fans will see lots of familiarity with the rookie's style of play. And this is what Terry Smith exactly had to say about Jaquan Brisker. The Bears are getting a smart guy that's going to pick up the system fast, Smith said. You're getting an athletic guy who can run, he's got good size, he can cover, and he can fit down in the box and play the run physical. Matchups on tight end should be very easy for him. He should be able to cover those slots. He should be able to play anything on the back end. I would be excited as a Bears fan. Years ago, you got one of our guys, Adrian Amos. He's along those lines with a guy who's one of the best safeties in the game. Obviously, this is very encouraging stuff to hear from an ex-coach from Penn State that got to watch Jaquan Brisker grow into the player that he is today. And obviously, when you look at Brisker, he can do anything. Just like Smith said, he can play in the box and get physical, right? He can cover tight ends, or he can even play in the slot. And this is something that I've talked about a lot especially when we drafted Jaquan Brisker. I know there's a lot of Bears fans that weren't really happy with the pick, but the more and more we learned about Jaquan Brisker, we understood that what Ryan Poles is trying to do is get 2 day one starters on the defense side of the football, and I think he did that with Kyler Gordon and especially Jaquan Brisker. And even when Tyler Smith compared him to ex-Bear Adrian Amos, that really gets me super pumped up, because obviously when you look at Adrian Amos, ever since we lost him and let him walk via free agency, the Bears have really struggled to replace Adrian Amos. And to me personally, that has really hurt a guy like Eddie Jackson, because as we were shifting all these strong safeties, it really hurt Eddie Jackson, because most of the time we were forcing Eddie Jackson to play strong safety and go in the box. And everyone knows that one of Eddie Jackson's weak point is tackling. So getting a guy like Jaquan Brisker that is very similar to Adrian Amos will, once again, I've been saying this a lot on the podcast, will allow Eddie Jackson to go back to his natural position, to that free safety spot. And to me, I think that will help Eddie Jackson quite a bit. And obviously, if Jaquan Brisker is another Amos, or even better than Adrian Amos, which I think he can be, the Bears should be in really, really good shape. And I know at the time, once again, I'm going to go back. I know at the time that the Bears selected Jaquan Brisker, I know a lot of Bears fans were upset with that pick by Ryan Poles. But I truly feel that Brisker and Kyler Gordon were the right picks. And now looking at it, they're excellent picks by Ryan Poles. And especially when you look at the Chicago Bears defense, when they already have two young studs, obviously in Roquan Smith and Jalen Johnson. Now you add a guy like Jaquan Brisker that you can use him anywhere on the football field, and he has all the tools to be the next young stud on that Chicago Bears defense. And overall, I'm really excited to see what Jaquan Brisker can bring to this defense. Obviously, the early reports from coaches inside Halas Hall saying that he is turning heads. He is adapting very fast to this new defense, and everything that they expected him to do, he is doing, is really encouraging. And as a Bears fan, that should get you really excited. And then you get things like this from ex-coach from Penn State that got to watch him play and help him improve his game. Once he comes out and says this stuff, it even gets you more pumped up about a guy like Jaquan Brisker when you know he will be able to contribute to this defense as soon as possible. And obviously, some people will argue, and I know I just mentioned it earlier in the podcast, I truly believe that he can be even better than Adrian Amos. When you look at Jaquan Brisker and compare him to Adrian Amos, his ceiling is actually probably a lot higher than Adrian Amos. Obviously, Adrian Amos was a 5th-round draft choice back in the Ryan Pace era. Obviously, Jaquan Brisker was a 2nd-round pick. But they do have a lot of similarities. But I think when you look at Jaquan Brisker and compare him to Adrian Amos, I think he's faster than Amos. I think he's more athletic than Amos. And I think he has better ball skills than Adrian Amos as well. Every time we talk about Adrian Amos, especially when he was a Chicago Bear, he was a really good safety for the Bears. I think he held down the fort at that strong safety position. But his ball skills could have been a lot better, especially when he's with the Chicago Bears. So obviously, I really like what Jaquan Brisker is going to bring to the Chicago Bears football team. And I truly feel that if he is like Adrian Amos, that is absolutely amazing. But I truly feel that Jaquan Brisker may end up being a lot better than Adrian Amos. And that is really good news for this Chicago Bears defense. So it's going to be fun to see what Jaquan Brisker can do when the pads come on next month at training camp. And as a Bears fan, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the ride and see what he can provide for the Chicago Bears defense. So let me ask you guys this before I let you guys go today here on Kick on the Mic. Are you guys excited to watch Jaquan Brisker play this season? Let me know down below in the comment section. I know I'm excited to watch him play and see what he provides for the Chicago Bears defense. So let me know down below if you guys are excited to watch Jaquan Brisker play this season. But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Kick on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Kick on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.